Welcome to Don't Quote Me on That. One day we will have an intro, but today is not that day.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Kalina,
And I'm Kalile.
and welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That, where we kind of talk about movies. Eleanor, we all know Eleanor is not here, so this is my brother, and we are going to kind of talk about. Well, we're going to talk about our favorite kind of movie, as Eleanor I always say, and our favorite kind of movie is in fact an album. And this is a good one because it's kind of long, but it's also like the perfect length album because I'm getting too much into it. We're going to talk about, and I'm actually going to say the title for once in my life before 10 minutes into the episode. We're going to talk about A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, the debut album by Panic at the Disco. This guy over here picked it.
I did.
We're going to have a lovely time. Also, I don't know if you guys know that I have a brother, so Kalina, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm her little brother. I listened to Panic at the Disco a lot in middle school, but mostly just the popular stuff. And when Kalina invited me to do an episode, I was like, let's listen to Panic at the Disco. That's fun. Let's listen to a Fixo.
A Fixo. I don't like that.
Okay, we'll.
It's like they kind of have to
Cut
sell
that.
me on 5 sauce.
I love
I
Five
hate
Sauce.
that.
I love saying Five Sauce.
What's wrong with 5 SOS? Like, I know it's not great. It doesn't
Five
roll off the
sauce.
tongue.
It's great.
But, like, I don't think SOS makes a sauce sound.
Sauce.
Sauce.
Five Sauce.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Fever You Can't Sweat Out, debut album by Panic at the Disco, according to Spotify, came out 27th of September, 2005. Also, I know, like, this microphone is not doing, like, I don't need this microphone. I have a microphone, but look at my microphone. It lights up. I'm not going to show you because it's Bluetooth, and then it'll connect to the phone, and then that'll be the end of this.
Yeah.
But it's very fun, and I love it. It's a karaoke microphone. Bad idea whoever decided to give this to me. Everyone is suffering listening to me do Lose Yourself. But it's okay. A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Debut album, Panic at the Disco. 27th of September, 2005. And this is my Wikipedia notes over here. It is crazy that this is a debut album. I thought this was, for some reason, I thought Pretty Odd was their debut album. Because as we get into the tracks, I think this has like it has a very clear sound. Like I knew who they were,
Definitely.
you know? And the way I described it to Claudia earlier is A Fever You Can't Sweat Out sounds like early Fall Out Boy if their early albums were performed by Postmodern Jukebox.
Which is so funny and so accurate.
Correct. Like, it's a clear sound, and like obviously they were signed by Pete Wentz, so it makes sense, and like inspired by Fall Out Boy. So it makes sense, but then it's got that little tweak of like, I think it's like syntho pop and baroque rock and that sort of vibe. I also think it helps that the lyrics of this album were written solely by Ryan Ross, so it's very easy for it to have a clearer sound, because rather than being all of them contributing to the lyrics, and one might contribute more on one song and one on the other, they were all written by the same guy, so like consistent throughout the board there. And like on a conservative, I'm looking at the track list here, conservatively I'd say there's like 4 really strong bangers. Line, But It's Better If You Do, I Write Sins Not Tragedies, and Build God, and then we'll talk. And I'm trying to think if I have anything else to share. They Panic at the Disco, which was Brendan Urie at the time, did, not now, but in 2017 when he was on tour, did a live medley of this album. Very good. Ate it up, if you will. And then they also, I think in like 2006 or 2007, performed this album. It was like live at Denver, which is pretty popular on the TikTok. Thoughts?
On a Fisco?
On a Fisco.
So I loved it. This was my first time listening to it. Prior to about 3 hours ago, I had only ever heard Lying and I Write Sins Not Tragedies. Of course, the iconic. Watch the music videos. Love Lying is probably one of my favorite music videos of all time. It's a good music video. But I thought it was great. I love an album that has like intro tracks and then like an intermission.
They like crafted an experience.
Yeah, I love that. It feels like an experience. Mac DeMarco does that a lot with his music. Is he'll have like an intro where it's like a monologue of some sort, and then there's like a track in the middle and a track at the end. It's okay. The intermission I thought was actually going to be like a song with the way it started, and then it switched,
You know who
And then I
does
was
that
listening to the
sometimes?
piano.
303. They do intros on their album, and it's like a mashup of all the songs on the album,
That's cool.
and I like it. 303, great band. They just put out a new song actually. I have to listen to it.
Oh, next episode? No, I'm kidding. An entire episode on one song.
You listen if it was Eleanor and I, make it work. Usually takes us 20 minutes to get into what we're talking about. So,
But I thought it was great. I love when an album has songs fill into one another, and I think it only happened once,
I think
and it was from "But It's Better If You Do" and "I Write Songs Not Tragedies." That was very fun because it was my first time listening to "But It's Better If You Do," and as it was ending, I was like, "I know it's coming
I
next.
know
I
this
know it's
one.
coming next." And my favorite song, I was disappointed that you didn't say it when you
Wait,
talked
wait,
about
wait.
the
We
big.
can do that at
Oh,
the end.
we
gotta
do
do
it
our
at the
top
end.
three
Oh,
at the
okay.
end.
Sorry. Ahead of myself.
Ahead, skipping pages. I was a little worried when you asked for this album because it's also my microphone's busted on this end. Which is why I got it. I was a little worried when you wanted to talk about this because it's 13 songs, and I believe that a good album is 10 because 13 is a lot to sit down and listen to. But one, to be fair, the intro song is like 30, 40 seconds. And then intermission, I'll be honest, I kind of skipped because
Intermission's just noise.
Yeah. And then like there's enough, like all the songs are good, but the bangers or like the well-known ones are spaced out that it doesn't feel like I'm listening for a long time because when every time I'm like, like, but it's better if you do it. Come on, I write sins will come on. I'm like, all right, great. And then we get to the end, and Bill God, and then we'll talk comes on. So, yeah, the introduction I thought was. Do you mind? Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Introduction, not really a song. It's like it doesn't say. Call it 40 seconds. I think it sets the tone really well though. And I also think it's very smart to begin your album with a teaser. It's like clips of a bunch of different songs almost of like a bunch of songs on the album, and especially for a debut album, I think it's really smart to kind of give a taste of what the listener is going to get, because it's not just the listeners new to your band, because your band is new to the world. It's not like, oh, I've never listened like Mac DeMarco. I don't know what Mac DeMarco is. So it's like if I listen to a Mac DeMarco album and there was an intro on there, that'd be great for me specifically because I don't know Mac DeMarco's discography. But Panic at the Disco is new to the world. They're like fresh out of high school, which is crazy that they wrote this album fresh out of high school, and kind of were signed without having any sort of following, in the sense that they recorded a few demos, sent them to Fall Out Boy. Pete Wentz signed them on his label. So it's not like they were like an underground band for a while that had like a cult, like a small cult following, you know? Anyway, I think it's very smart. I think it's quick and to the point. Yeah, it's like...
It's 31 seconds. No, 36 seconds.
Yeah, no notes really. It's an intro song. I like it. You know what it felt like? And talking about like this album being a production, it felt, and also just because of the vibe or like the genre of music they were making, is, you know, in like silent films where they have like the little black and white screen that goes 3, 2. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
listening to it.
That's very apt. All right.
You have any thoughts?
No, you said it all. I mean, I don't. Maybe this is a little surface level of me, but I don't care particularly for intro tracks or intermission. As in, like, I don't. I'm like, okay, cool, little blurb, and yeah, like it's cool that they're there. It's like fun, it adds to the experience. But I thought it was cool. I was like, okay, we're getting ready for a fixo. It's not gonna stick. I should just.
The next song is The Only Difference Between Martyrdom and Suicide is Press Coverage. Also, these song titles, obviously very Fall Out Boy inspired, but also they remind me of like Percy Jackson chapter titles, which are a hoot and a half. This sounds less polished than I once thought it. Like not just this song, but it's obviously the first song on the album I was listening to. But it sounds less polished than I once thought it was. In the sense that, like, now that I've heard more of Panic at the Disco stuff, or like more of Brendan Urie's specifically vocal range, this is not as like impressive as it once seemed. But Brendan Urie does have a very impressive vocal range, and for a debut album, for a new band, for all of these things, it is a very polished album. It's very well put together. I just think compared to, you know, hindsight's 2020, compared to stuff I know from them now, or even other songs on this album, maybe not as strong.
I'm also very easy to please when it comes to music. So to me, the word polish never even comes to mind when I'm thinking about a song I'm listening to. But what I enjoyed about this song is going back to like the whole experience of an album. It sort of felt like he was speaking directly to the new listeners.
And he says, "I'm the narrator."
Yeah, he says, "I'm the narrator, and this is just the prologue, and this is the songwriter for
Yeah.
introduction. Like, this is the first actual track on the album." I thought that was fun. And he speaks like in the first person, like collective,
Yeah.
saying we're so young, desperate for attention. I thought it was fun. I thought it was like a fun little way to introduce themselves to the audience, like actually.
According to my Wikipedia read, like I said, Ryan Ross wrote all the lyrics on this album, and he was inspired for a lot of it by Chuck something, whose name I don't remember right now. The guy who wrote Fight Club.
Oh.
But he was inspired by another book he wrote, I think called Invisible Worlds or Invisible Lines, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes he like directly takes lines, not in this song, but I had this thought and then remembering that he took inspiration from a book. This feels very much like a novel. It feels very much like a musical, like a musical, like a stage musical as well, in the sense that, like Claudia said, they're talking to the audience. He says, "I'm the narrator. This is just the prologue." He says, "Their studio audience," kind of like bringing the listener in early,
right?
And they're kind of serving, I guess, Brendan Urie in this sense, but the band itself is serving this role as this omniscient third person narrator, telling you about these people, or these people. And to me, it kind of is touching on themes of like indulgence, which is something I think Fall Out Boy does well. I always bring up their song 27. I love that song. But it's very much about like the high life and fame and drugs, and like fame being a black hole, quite literally. And so I think Panic at the Disco is doing, especially because they hadn't really had a touch of that fame. This is their first album. Is doing it really well in a sense that it feels more accessible. It's like watching your friend who like loves life a little too much, like they're going on a bender all the time, and like it's not necessarily like they're harming. It's not actively harming themselves or you, but they're just like living like a little bit too much of the high life. They're shirking their responsibilities, but it always works out for them, like that sort of vibe. And you're just this band is watching this happen and narrating it to you.
Right.
I also think they do very well of like, obviously the sound helps. It's described as like synthpop, baroque pop, and it ages it in a good way. Like it doesn't feel early 2000s. It's like, I can't think, like Tommy Richmond is the only thing that's coming to mind, but like people who make music now that sound like early 2000s music without sound, but it sounds fresh. It doesn't sound like they're trying to grasp that and they're failing. Does that make sense? Like they're successful at it. This feels like they're making music from, like they're making this music in the early 2000s, and it sounds like it's coming from further back, like it's playing through a gramophone, but it still feels fresh. Also, like, as we'll get into the album, the words they use, the turns of phrases they use, his delivery. One thing I noticed throughout this entire album is Brendan Urie continuously, and also just with the way they write the music, will like stretch out these lines and then cram a lot into a short, like into like a verse, and then stretch out these lines. So I do think that's a conscious choice just based on the rest of the songs. But for the rest of the song, it feels, just lyrically, it feels very poignant without necessarily making sense. Like when you read poetry and you're like, I don't, like if I broke down these words, I wouldn't necessarily be able to tell you what it means. But like I could read them all together and I get the feeling that the writer was trying to convey. And also, I think the breakdown and the chorus add chanceable elements, which Eleanor and I have talked about before. I think it's really important for a band, or I think at least it's very cool when a band can make a song that an audience can immediately pick up and sing along. And I think off the jump, this is their first song on the album, and they have something that they're going to go perform this to a live audience, and they can join in very easily.
Yeah.
He says, "We're still young, so young and desperate for attention. I aim to be your eyes, trophy boys, trophy wives." I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I know what it means, but what does that mean?
That's all. I don't have anything else to say.
Any good lyrics you like in there?
No, I went over them. My favorite is when he's like addresses them, dear studio audience. I have an announcement to make. I'm the narrator, and this is just a prologue.
I also like that they bring up that they're young. It's we're so young and desperate for attention, but it doesn't feel like
edgy.
Yeah, it's not like whiny, like I hate my town, which is like perfectly valid. People feel that way. Right. But again, coming from the time they were making music, we have Fall Out Boy, we've got coming off of Simple Plan, things like that. Good Charlotte, you know, it's very much like I hate this town and I want to get out of here. You have this, which is like it feels mature, but not in a kids playing adults way, but like in a genuinely we've experienced some life.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my friend like loves cocaine a little too much and loves girls a little too much, but like, you know, life is good. Oh, what does my shirt say? Life isn't easy. Life isn't perfect, but life is good. That's what it read.
Amazing.
Cayenne. I picked this on purpose, you know. Next song is London Beckon's songs about money written by machines. He is a strong vocalist. I have said that. If you haven't heard Brendan Urie sing Soul of a Man from Kinky Boots, please pause this. Go do that and come back here.
All right, so can we keep going in 5?
All right. Actually, I'll give you my dramatic rendition of Soul of a Man. But no, he's a fantastic vocalist. I don't think that can be denied. Obviously, some debate about that now and with time and hindsight's 2020. But looking at this with fresh eyes, none of that playing in. I think in this again with hindsight being 2020, take a High Hopes. I don't remember any of those songs off that album. Hey, look, Ma, I made it. That sort of like he was like going for it vocally on that album. Whereas here, I feel like he's going for it, but they allow the music and his vocals to be evenly impressive, if that makes sense. Where I feel like some of the later stuff, especially as he was solo, it was Brendan Urie music was here, you know? This is very even. So I was expecting a lot more from him just because I haven't listened to this album in its entirety in a while. And not to take away again from his credit, but I think they did a really good job of letting the music shine. But at the same time, neither one of them then particularly stood out. I think like between vocals, lyrics, music, lyrics stand out the most on this album.
Mm-hmm.
The music and the vocals are good, very solid, very clear sound, very intentional, but not like groundbreaking. Which I saw in the Wikipedia page, it said the reviews for this album were like 50-50. Some people were like, it's kind of like they're like the vocals save it or like the lyrics save it, but it's not like necessarily anything to write home about.
Interesting. I would say this is one of the most lyrically sound albums I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
By any artist.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about the specific lyrics of this song? I thought it was so fun. I have a comment. But if you have a comment, you can make a comment.
I'll go over my few. This has a heavier sound than some of the more popular tracks, so I think that's probably why it doesn't pick up as well. Yeah. I like it a lot. I'm obsessed with the bridge. They do this like it sounds further away. Back to my gramophone comment, it sounds like it's playing through a gramophone. It's kind of like muffled, a little like scratchy. It sounds further away, like volume-wise, than the rest of the song. And it's a very good, clear, intentional use of diegetic sound, or I guess non-diegetic sound. It's like not the actual music. There's like sound effects in the background that, again, that scratchiness and these like little like talking in the background, things like that. They do that throughout this album. But I love how early they introduce it, and I think it's done very, very well in this song. Those are my thoughts on London Beckoned.
My only thought is in regards to the chorus. Is the chorus, right? Yeah. I'm good at what I do. Yeah, the chorus. Well, we're just a wet dream for the webzine. I thought that was very fun. And I feel like in regards to like lying, right? Like I feel like that can be like all those lyrics can be appreciated at any point, but we're just a wet dream for the webzine, particularly in regards to webzine. I feel like that was like very much like of its time.
Yeah.
Right. And like I didn't know what a zine was until probably like 2 years ago. And it was because like my friend had learned and mentioned it to me. So I just thought that was like fun. It was like that lyric almost feels like a time capsule for me. It's like, whoa, this is 2005. This is what was popular back then. Was that MySpace era?
5, brother.
Well, okay, but
probably
MySpace. I don't know. So I just thought that was really fun. Make us it, make us hip, make us seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's very interesting that they also say in what disinterest in what the critics say, it's time for us to take a chance, which is an interesting comment coming from a band who like hasn't. Again, it's not like they've been like making music for a while, been on the scene for like a really long time. Yeah, make us it, make us hip, make us seen, or shrug us off your shoulders. Don't approve a single word that we wrote. So like already coming again mature in a way of like not needing that approval, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel disingenuous, you know. That's all I got.
Yeah.
The next song is lovely. Nails for breakfast, tacks for snacks. I don't know why that goes so hard, but it's a really good song title. It also, I feel like we've introduced more of our synth pop elements here as the songs go on. I feel like we're gradually getting into what they really want their sound to be.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is when they recorded the album, they had half the songs already,
Mm-hmm.
and they wrote the other half while they were recording the album.
Oh.
And the intermission in the middle is supposed to split it between like a more pop punk heavier sound to a more synth pop
Okay.
vibe. I honestly think it's kind of flipped. I think these songs are
A little more synth pop than the later songs.
but they also do a very good job of like adding in the elements
Yeah.
slowly. It also could be because some of the later songs, I think the latter half has more popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
So the songs that are popular from that are the heavier ones, because that's kind of what the scene was at the time. I just love these song titles. It feels very nostalgic again, like the Tommy Richmond comment I made earlier. People are making 2000s music, but today. And the first three songs keep the energy very high. We talk about album openers all the time here. I think they had a very good album opener, but I think these three songs keep the energy high, but are in very different spaces.
Yeah.
It's not like the same vibe. They're similar, but they don't like. It's not like up down up down. We've been up this whole time.
Right.
And the titles and the lyrics give us a picture of indulgence and excess. You know, talking about like, I don't know. I don't find London to be particularly exotic, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like talking about London and like travel and like words like martyrdom and suicide and press coverage.
Mhm.
You know, like it's like they're crafting this narrative of like old newspapers and transatlantic accents and we're seeing the world. And like the world's not just new to them; it's new to us. You know? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I thought this one was fun. I might be misremembering, but I think they mention this is the first time that they mention medication in the album. I think it comes up later. Well, they mentioned the prescribed pills is a very common lyric in this song. Do you remember if it comes up later? I feel like I remember.
It probably does.
Something, yeah.
But again, back to my point of like, it's very much like my friend likes poppers.
Yeah.
He's having a party. And it's not my friend. It's this guy. You see this guy? We're watching him. We're following him.
Right.
It's like a good narrator. Oh, it's like I wrote this down for a later song. It's like a Rod Serling Twilight Zone, where he's like, "Hello, what you are about to witness," blah blah blah, right? And then you watch the Twilight Zone episode, and then he's like, "Wasn't that crazy?" I think about the night that the monsters are due on Maple Street. That's my favorite Twilight Zone episode. And he like introduces the episode, and basically the premise of the episode is they hear aliens have come to Earth, and then everyone and like they've been living among us, and everyone on the street starts turning on each other because they think one like the other person's the alien, and how easy it is to sow dissent in people. And at the very end, the aliens are like, "Oh, see, that was really easy. We don't have to do anything. We just drop a nugget that there is in fact an alien." And they just turn on each other and destroy themselves. Right. And Rod Serling is like, "Yeah, we need to be nice to each other. Thank you." So like that sort of vibe. Where like Panic at the Disco's the narrator coming in and being like, "Hey, we're gonna set the scene. They're partying," and it kind of draws himself out and like interacts with it in a way that like they're not active participants in what's happening, but they're not completely removed from it either. It also reminded me a little bit of the Jane the Virgin narrator, which I haven't seen in a little while. But like from what I remember, just because I saw this scene recently, is Jane the Virgin narrator wasn't totally objective. Like he presented facts that seemed objective, and then later on turned out to be a bit spoilery, if that makes sense. The example I'm thinking of, which is a scene I rewatched recently, so spoilers for Jane the Virgin, is at the start of Jane the Virgin, she's with this guy named Michael. And he says, Michael would love Jane until his dying breath, right? And they're like, great, because they're getting married. Right. And it was like kind of like obviously they had the other love interest. It was a little bit of a love triangle, so everyone was like worried it wouldn't happen. So he's like, no, Michael will love Jane until his dying breath. Michael and Jane get married. Something happened to him. He had like a heart attack or something when he went to go take a test. This is like not too long after they got married. And so while Michael's dying on the floor, the narrator's like, well, reader or listener, whatever. Viewer, that's it, viewer. I did tell you that Michael would love Jane until his dying breath. Meanwhile, the poor girl's bawling on the floor, right? Right. It's like that sort of vibe. It's not objective, and he does kind of have a stake in the game, but at the end of the day, he has to present the facts from a degree of separation.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like. Not totally removed, but not actively in the story either.
I didn't know that about Jane the Virgin.
Oh yeah, Jane the Virgin.
I didn't
great
know it was narrated. That's cool. I thought it was like sitcom-y.
It's not like narrated the whole time, but he pops in and out.
Okay.
Because she's an author, so it's kind of like her book.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no clue.
And again, back to this being crafted like a book.
Yeah. Okay, I have thoughts. Somebody on Reddit said that this album was like I don't know how to say it, like his possessive, like Dionysus' soundtrack, something like that. And I really appreciated that.
Oh, you know what that makes me think of?
What?
So, the masterpiece that is Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief movie. Okay? The Lightning Thief movie? I know it gets a bad rap. I think it's a good movie. I think it's fine. You take it away from the books, great movie. Is it this Lightning Thief where they get anyway, when they get trapped in the hotel, right? And Percy Jackson movie, it's 2007. Percy Jackson kills Medusa by using the back of his iPod. Percy Jackson, they get stuck in the hotel and they're like trapped in time. Basically, these kids who get stuck in the hotel and they play Lady Gaga. Genius choice. That's what this is giving that, you know?
Okay.
This is playing in the background of that.
Mm-hmm.
I see the vision.
That's fair. But yeah, I think Nails for Breakfast, Tax for Snacks. By the time I got to this is the third one, right? By the time I got to this one, I was like, okay, we have a defined sound.
Yeah.
I think this whole album was very cohesive. Even though they all had a different vibe, like the first three, like you said we're still up. And like that
the
was
energy
the vibe.
was the same,
like
yeah.
the energy was absolutely the same for these first three. I'm not sure if it changes in my opinion, but
no, and it's a pretty like I like an album that takes me through an emotional journey.
Yeah.
And I do think we went on a journey here, but not in terms of sound. A lot of times the album will start off slow or high and it'll kind of bring you back down. You know, it's got peaks and valleys. This one I think was consistently high. I can't really think of a slow song or like a sadder song on this.
No.
But content wise, or kind of I'll share this later, but like thinking about them as the narrator and how their role in this narrative changes throughout the album is clear without them losing that energy.
Agreed.
Next song.
Kamisato. So I did have to Google what Kamisato meant. And the first result was from the Panic at the Disco subreddit. Kamisato is like another word for a camisade. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. It's a war move. I don't know what the move is, but it's a war move. I want to briefly address that I think I'm always amused and tickled when songs never mention their titles. And with some of these, it's simply not possible.
Oh, it's so good, but it's so bad. This happens to me with Pierce the Veil sometimes too.
They also do that?
I listen to so much Pierce the Veil that like I know the lyrics to all their songs, but if you said, oh, do you know Tangled in the Great Escape, I'd be like, which one is that? Because I just know the words. Panic, especially because when I listen to Panic at the Disco, like Fever, I'll listen to the whole album, so I don't really pay attention to where a song is stopping and starting.
That's fair.
Like, do I know all the words to Lying? Yeah. Do I sometimes think it's better if you do? Yeah. I know the words to that one too. You know.
Yeah. So when we got to this single word title, I was like, oh, they're gonna say it. They didn't.
They did not.
But great song. I think this was the closest one I had to is the vibe shifting a little bit. But they still carried the same sort of sound through. It sure is highly normal, but we deal. The anesthetic, there we go. Medication. I remember with at least 3 songs, I was like, okay.
At the beginning, they say the IV and your hospital bed.
Yeah.
This was no accident. It was a therapeutic chain of events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was when I was listening to this one, I took note of this is the scent of dead skin on a linoleum floor. Mm-hmm. This is the scent of quarantine wings in a hospital. And maybe this isn't what you meant, but when you said that they like crammed so much into a verse, that came to mind for me.
This is the sense of it. It's like,
yeah,
all right, brother, I'm with you.
Linoleum.
We're tweaking.
Yeah.
This is where I wrote down that it feels like we're setting the scene before the characters come in. It's like curtains are closed. My narrator's in front of the curtain, being like, "This is no accident. It was a therapeutic chain of events. Curtains open. We're in the hospital on the linoleum floor." It's like, I mean, I've said all this already. It's like dealing with a friend that loves to indulge a little too much. And I said, you know how, I don't know if you know, I've said this before on the show. Fall Out Boy sounds like if I listen to a Fall Out Boy song, the only thing I can say is they sound like Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy song has been very clear. Fall Out Boy has defined the genre since they came onto the scene, but like they still define the genre. I hear a Fall Out Boy song today. Does it sound like Dance Dance? No. Do I always know it's a Fall Out Boy song? Yes. I think Green Day is pretty good at doing that as well. Some bands changed that were definitive of the genre have changed their sound. Fall Out Boy always sounds like Fall Out Boy. Panic at the Disco has since lost the plot, but I say the first three albums, they sound like Panic. Like I always know it's Panic at the Disco. If nothing else, Fever and Pretty Odd, clear sound. I can hear 2 seconds of any of those songs, and I know that's Panic at the Disco song. I know, and I could probably pinpoint what album it's off of too, because they're so clear and consistent with their sound. And this fourth song, like we said, the energy is not necessarily exactly the same, but we haven't lost the vibe either. I just think it's very, very impressive, even if this was their fifth album, to have such a clear, concise vibe and sound and theme and carry that throughout 11 songs.
Yeah, I agree. About me liking this artist that I listen to, and I actually listened to this album because of you, Rachel Chinariri. What was a very unfortunate event, something like that. That album. What came to mind was when listening to this album, and I was thinking about how cohesive it is. I was thinking about Robbed. You remember Robbed versus All
That was
I
one of
Ever
the songs
Asked.
I did like.
Right, Robbed versus All I Ever Asked. We are in different.
Hey,
we're in
where
different
are we?
timelines.
There's like 15 people wrote that song album.
You know what? With Robbed and All I Ever Asked, we might be in the same timeline, but we are in very different energies. And with this whole album, with the entirety of Fixo, they gave us the same energy.
I also feel like sometimes when people write albums about relationships, let's say, they sometimes, like Olivia Rodrigo, I think, from what I've seen online, is very obvious. She wrote 3 songs about one guy, and she wrote another song, 2 songs about this other. Like it's different people she's talking about. Sometimes you write an album and it's all about one person, but different faces in the relationship. I feel like Panic at the Disco is giving us the same, let's say, core group of people. Again, in my musical example or book example, it's the same 5 characters, let's say, but they're all very close in terms of what is happening plot wise. Like, yeah, the main, one guy is a little crazy, and all these people are kind of helping with the indulgence or aiding and abetting, whatever. Yeah, there was a thought there. It's gone now. So
no, but you saying sort of like the same group of people made me think of like Skins. You know the
Yeah.
show Skins? Like,
Yeah.
I totally see it. I mean, I think that's funny. And about Skins, can't take the kid from the fight, take the fight from the kid. I thought that was a fun lyric. Sit back, relax.
Regular decorated emergency.
Yeah, sit back, relax, sit back, relapse again. Again, indulgence, Dionysus. I thought it was fun.
Next song. Time to
Dance.
The chorus of this song, to me, saves this. It's not that I don't like this song. I like the other ones much better. But I think the chorus of the song saves it. Also, this is one of the lines he pulled directly from whichever book, Invisible, whatever book that Ryan Ross was inspired by. He says, "Give me envy, give me malice, give me your attention, give me envy, give me malice, baby, give me a break." I would tattoo that on my forehead. I think it's so good. It is, taken from another piece of media, but I think that's fine. I also think the way he uses it is very well. Again, back to Brendan Urie cramming a lot into a short time. The opening verse to me is just kind of boring. And again, originally they had one of the other band members was the lead singer. They heard Brendan Urie sing and they're like, "No, you'll do it."
Ouch.
But because he's just good, he has a good vocal range,
Phenomenal.
but he's not showing it off. It's not like he's going like pedal to the metal in this album, which I understand. Like I don't think he should have. I think Pretty Odd, or at 9 p.m, that sort of vibe. Then he starts Ballad of Mona Lisa. Obviously, he starts showing off, but like here, he's just kind of finding where those limits are, I think. So to me, I think if he had done more vocally, maybe this would have been more interesting. But I find that the first verse is just kind of boring. But I do really love "Give Me Envy, Give Me Malice, Give Me Your Attention."
My favorite portion of the song, what did you call it? The bridge, the build up? I don't know. When I say shotgun, you say wedding. Shotgun wedding, shotgun
Oh, still in
wedding.
the chorus.
That was fun. And what is like the subject matter of this one? Like teen
I
pregnancy?
think it's I think it's young love, but I think also in this album as a whole, considering the time period we're kind of affecting for the sake of this album, or they're affecting for the sake of this album, it's doomed for the girl no matter what. He
Yeah.
says boys will be boys,
Mm-hmm.
shotgun wedding, hiding in estrogen, and boys will be boys.
Yeah.
A little bit later, obviously, they talk about Harlequin girls.
Mm-hmm.
So see, but she
She
didn't
didn't
choose
choose
this
this
role,
role.
but she'll play it and make it sincere. So yeah, I think for the time period we're affecting, it's indulgence, it's doomed love, it's kind of these things in society that are constructed and that we can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
We can't escape the need capitalism, for example. So how do we ease the burden of capitalism, ease the weight of capitalism? We indulge a little bit. These girls who are told, we need to fall in love and get married,
Yeah.
not going to work out well for them, but you got to do what you got to do. And love is real, but it also doesn't always
Yeah.
work out spectacularly for young women.
I want to make a quick connection.
Yes.
I think this might be a hot take. This might ruffle some feathers. I think that Mr. Brightside by the Killers would maybe not fit in this album because that is a very different sound.
Yes.
But subject matter of the song,
Okay,
I think
hello.
that would work.
Hello, everybody. The Killers are Mormons, and you know what Brendan Urie is? Well, was
I know.
a Mormon.
Yeah.
Connecting the dots. Also, since we bring it up Mormons, Twilight's Mormon propaganda. Okay, so once you know Twilight's Mormon propaganda, could these songs work on a Twilight soundtrack? Absolutely, I think they could. Doomed Love.
That is a very hot take.
Is ready to pair.
My microphone lights up.
The sound
Think about
doesn't
your
work.
the sound doesn't work.
Content, yes.
Had I edited it differently,
Mm-hmm.
your the IV and your hospital bed, belly giving birth.
I hear it. We should have Postmodern Jukebox do it. I respect that. Yeah. Ready?
Just like, and this idea of, I'm connecting the dots. Okay, I think Mr. Brightside would work on a Twilight, like
I
for
agree.
a Twilight edit. How about that?
You know,
Maybe not the soundtrack.
I agree. Absolutely.
Mormons.
I did not know about the Killers.
Oh, yeah,
All of
Mormons.
them, like as a unit, as a collective.
I don't know. I think Brandon Flowers. I think that's his name.
Whoa,
I'm pretty sure it's
that's
Mormon.
awesome.
Like 95% sure about that, but don't call me out. Next song, perhaps the pinnacle of this album, perhaps the most popular song to come off this album. Blind is the most fun a girl can have without taking her clothes off.
It is.
I personally love Blind.
And I do too. I once saw, this was probably back in middle school, I once saw a meme that was like, reminder that this is what Panic at the Disco looked like when they wrote, "Is it still me that
They
makes
were
you
like
sweat?"
17, dude.
Reminder
What are we
that
doing
this
here?
is what they looked like. Yeah.
Brendan Urie's voice in this song sounds almost deceptive. Like he's trying to sound seductive.
Yeah.
I also think this is in terms of the narrator role that they're serving. This is where things start to shift and they become more active participants in this story.
Mm-hmm.
That's the journey I think they take us on, not
Mm-hmm.
vibe-wise, energy-wise, but they become sucked into the story that they're supposed to be telling. Because is it still me that makes you sweat? Am I who you think about in bed when the lights are dim and your heart is racing? It feels like he's promising this girl a future that he does not plan on having with her. He's like just trying to get what he wants and then leave, and then his voice comes. I also love how he does this, talking about how he delivers lines. He fills space and then he fits a lot into a beat.
Mm-hmm.
He also is very soft in these verses and comes in so strong on the chorus, where it's like this softness is these moments that are between the two of them.
Yeah.
And then this loud, let's get these teen hearts beating faster. So to stop, it's like he's speaking to the youth I don't want to say like the youth in the world, but like the youth in his story as a whole. And it also kind of gives like a forbidden love feeling. And I know everyone has their theories on everybody's sexualities, and I just think forbidden love's a hard topic to sing about, because in what ways are things forbidden has changed throughout time. Does it make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it's fair.
Like, if this were, I mean, back in their time, I couldn't marry a white man.
Right.
Not back in their time, but
back
in the time that this album kind of gives me the vibe.
20 years ago.
Yeah. You couldn't have interracial couples. You gay couples. I would like to think they're more accepted now and more protected. So like, it's not perfect. Or queer couples, I should say. But like Romeo and Juliet doesn't like, strictly the story of Romeo and Juliet, where these two families are feuding, doesn't strictly work anymore. Present day, you have to kind of change some elements for it to make sense.
I think your take on it being about forbidden love is a little interesting. I didn't really see forbidden love that much, as I saw sort of like a bit of like just jealousy, perhaps. I guess maybe there can be jealousy in a forbidden love story, but this reminded me of a lot of TV Girls subject matter, which is the singer, the narrator, is singing about them witnessing their ex-lover with a new person and expressing their discontent and their jealousy for that. And that's sort of the vibe I get. Like, then think of what you did and how I hope to God he was worth it. Like, it that could be sarcastic, or it could be a little genuine. Like, like, oh, I hope for your sake you enjoyed what you did with another person. It's not me. Like, to me it's like it's kind of like a bitter ex-lover. To me, that's what I get.
I think the forbidden love aspects comes in the way he delivers it, which again is also kind of deceptive and intentionally seductive. But I think of it in terms of, like I said, he's promising her things he ever doesn't plan on having, and it's like, okay, well, is it still me that makes you sweat? Like, he's trying to get her to come back to him, and she's like, no, this is not like you don't mean this. So now he's not necessarily jealous, but now he's kind of like, it'll always be me. He's like, you can go try it with somebody else, but like at the end of the day, you are gonna come back to me.
Yeah,
that's what so not jealous, I would say, but I guess more manipulative, and then also kind of back to him being a narrator in the story and needing it to be all about him. He says, "Did you really think I'd let you kill this chorus?"
Yeah.
So like, how important do you think you are, and do you think I'm gonna let you ruin this story that I'm telling? Also kind of reminded me, that line reminds me of You're So Vain by Carly Simon. And she says, you're so vain, you probably think the song is about you, don't you?
That's written by a woman?
Yeah.
I've heard a male cover of it. I thought it was a man who sang it.
Oh my god. Guys, I'm so sorry. I have to kick him off the show.
Yeah, sorry.
It's worse than Eleanor. You live with me. That's crazy.
I'll listen to it after this.
Anyway, she says, you're so vain, you probably think the song is about you. And like how, it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not. But like he's saying, do you really think I'm going to let you kill this chorus? Let's get these teen hearts beating faster, faster. I also think, back to being clear on their sound, they use their like acapella or like removal of the instrumentals very well.
For that part.
Kind of isolates his voice and really showcases Brendan Urie's voice, but not necessarily to show off his voice, but more to craft the narrative.
Yeah. Couple more. Are we going on this song too long?
Not any longer.
Okay, yeah. Just want to get into the lyrics of this song again. Girl, I was it. Look past the sweat. A better love deserving of exchanging body heat in the passenger seat. No, no, no. You know it will always just be me. Like, yeah, that to me like screams like a lover who's moved on, and you're bitter and you're mad.
You're big mad.
In this, this narrative of this group of people who are overindulging and partaking in things maybe they shouldn't be. There's a split, and it's maybe not a pleasant one.
I do also like that they use teen hearts, because they're not trying to be older than they are.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but if they said 2, I don't think it would have been.
No, but I don't feel like.
I respect Chase Petra changing it to 2.
I don't want to be 26 singing about teen hearts. I don't blame her.
I'm still 19, and I wouldn't sing it with a teen. It's good. And like they say teen and they say testosterone boys, harlequin girls. Now of course boys and girls can be used. Girls especially is used to describe women sometimes, but like this is
For
very,
misogyny.
despite the very adult matter of this song, like there's a childish aspect to it, in my opinion. Intermission. And that's
Intermission.
that's
Why
that's
was
the
this 2.5
flip.
minutes?
Yeah,
This didn't need to be 2.5 minutes. It was good. Didn't need 2.5 minutes. There's not a single lyric in this thing. I like that they have a talker again, kind of blend into my narrator theory, but like, and also we're shifting more from like the syntho to more baroque pop in my professional opinion. Although now thinking back, I think it's pretty evenly distributed.
I also agree. I personally didn't notice a bit of a transition. I also would have never thought of the term, or I guess the genre, baroque pop until you said it, and then when you said it, I was like, music appreciation comes back to me. Like I hear that.
I have a media
Um,
degree. Can you believe that?
um,
Yeah, I just don't think it needed to be 2.5 minutes long.
yeah,
I'd give it a minute at most.
one of the first things I do when I listen to a new song is I look at the lyrics first before I listen to it, and I read the lyrics and I was like, oh, light work, and then it was 2 minutes, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
We shall continue now with our piano interlude.
And prior to the speech, there was like this very like synth pop instrumental. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, are we about to? I was like, this is
I would
a
like to
very
go to a
young
club
vibe.
and this is playing.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Later on in this album, they talk about a strip club and like I would like not a strip club now, but like
Mm-hmm.
a gentleman's club. That's sort of
yeah. Goldfinger.
like a Audrey Hepburn goes to a strip club in Breakfast at Tiffany's. That sort of vibe. It's her and the guy, and they're sitting down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like
Yeah.
that's the vibe. And next we have "But It's Better If You Do," which is my favorite song on this album.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh wait, you can say it now. Can I say what mine was?
Oh, did you pass it? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we passed it. We passed it ages ago.
I just didn't want to put it in the beginning.
No, that's fair. My favorite song is London Beckon Songs about Money, written by the Streets.
Really?
Yeah, I love that song. I was after I did my preliminary listen through, I listened to that about 8 times before I was like, I should probably take notes on the others. So,
But It's Better If You Do.
But It's Better If You Do.
I restarted the song a couple times before I moved on to the next one. Now I'm of consenting age. To see what I was talking about. To be forgetting you in a cabaret.
Yeah. Somewhere downtown where a burlesque queen may even ask my name.
As she sheds her skin on stage, I'm seated and sweating to a dance song on the club's PA. The strip joint veteran sits 2 away.
Yeah.
Smirking between dignified sips of his dignified peach and lime daiquiri.
This song, I love reading song lyrics without the music, without the song playing, and this song to me reads the most like poetry.
Yeah.
I feel like I would read this in AP Lit. I definitely the smirking between dignified sips of his dignified peach and lime daiquiri, and isn't this exactly where you'd like me?
I feel like he's kind of compared to what we just talked about. Lying. Sorry. Compared to Lying, where I feel like he's being manipulative and he's like, you're not going to get any better than me. Now he's like, no, please. Please.
Yeah.
I'm exactly where you would like me to be.
Right. Because he's a little desperate.
Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. I just think this is a genius vibe, is praying for love in a lap dance and pain and naivety.
Yeah.
Again, back to they're not trying to be older than they are.
Yeah.
They're very aware of the consequences they face.
These are kids.
Because they're young.
Right.
Yeah. And not just, and like, yes, they've aged up the subject matter in terms of talking about cabaret and burlesque, but at its essence, I'm paying in naivety. I'm paying for being young and not knowing any better.
And not having an experience. Yeah, I was going to say, I like that in this, I feel like going with this musical narrative we're going with, right? Maybe intermission is the intermission of the musical. And when we get back to But It's Better If You Do, a year's passed. Our MC is 18 now. He was 17 in Act 1. And, we find him in this.
This girl left him and he was like, oh, wait,
right.
That's kind of bad.
Yeah.
Actually.
And even though, like, he's 18, maybe he's done some soul searching, he still is naive.
Yeah, I said, why are high schoolers writing, like, jaded 30-year-olds? Like, sometimes high schoolers are writing, like 22-year-olds, which is a different vibe. They're writing, like, they've had life, they've had kids. They're like, oh, my God. Didn't appreciate it while I had it.
Taking a drag of a cigarette on a balcony.
I don't know, I could talk forever about pain and naivety. I think that applies to so many things. And a lot of times artists will sing, again, kind of talking about relationship for an example. They'll sing about relationships, and one specifically that they experience, but in a way that's general enough that anyone who's like kind of had some sort of relationship, romantic or otherwise, but can relate to it. You know, you've lost a friend, you've lost a partner, things ended on bad terms with somebody. Obviously, you know, I'm writing this about my boyfriend who broke up with me 6 months ago, but like you can relate it to something else.
Right.
Whereas I think they, again, change the subject matter to a point where it's not relatable on paper. Okay, I've not been at the cabaret watching some girl strip.
Haven't seen a burlesque queen.
Yeah. And sitting next to the guy who's there all the time, you know? But that idea of like trying to do these things that you think will make you feel better, trying to do these things that make you feel more adult and more mature. And at the end of the day, like knowing that's not really going to fix the problem. And you know, they say like the only way to do it is to do it, you know? Like I have to live life to get that experience, but I don't have that experience now, and it sucks.
Yeah. I thought this was a good song. This was a strong one. Did you put this in the top 4 hits of the song in the beginning of this album? I mean,
yes.
Okay, yeah.
But it's better if you do Lying, I Write Sins,
and Build God, Then We'll Talk.
Build God.
Yeah,
We'll Talk.
I agree with this being in the top 4 hits. Solid.
Yeah, we can move to the next one. I think it's a good song.
Okay. Did I speak on it enough?
I think so.
I Write Sins. Okay, so I totally forgot that it was But It's Better If You Do that built up to I Write
yes,
Sins.
and then it flows right into it.
That was so fun. That was joyous. I jumped for joy. I Write Sins on Tragedies. It's spoken first person, but then there's also the narrator aspect of What a Beautiful Wedding.
Yeah, I think we're back to our narrator.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I'm jaded now.
Yeah.
I need to remove myself from this story again. And people, again, back to like kind of our young love. These kids are getting married, and it's obviously not going well for the youths. I like the chorus type vocals, kind of speaking to what I was talking about earlier with making it something easy for people to chant. I also think this is why this song got so popular. It's very easy to grab a hold of. It's simpler. It's also simpler than some of the other songs, not in a bad way, but I think that lends to its popularity. Is like I talked about earlier. I think London. I said London is like a little bit heavier sound. Some of the songs are a little bit more, have more dimension, I guess. So this one's simpler. Oh, hit my microphone. This one's simpler, so it's a little bit easier for, I think, an audience to grab onto and sing along to these chorus vocals. He is no longer the subjective narrator.
Yeah.
He's kind of been drawn into the story, and he's still trying. But like you said, we kind of go back and forth between talking about this wedding to like actively being a part of the story that we're telling. I think that Ryan Ross constructed a world to dissect everyday experiences and feelings, but from a distance. Kind of like I was talking about, where I feel like I'm in Breakfast at Tiffany's, actually, now that I think about it. I feel like it's Breakfast at Tiffany's, but like with a little bit of like a sheen on it, if that makes sense. So like we're in a different time. It's not 2005, right? We're in a different time. We're in a different world, and these kids have probably experienced in Nevada, I think is where they're from.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
This doesn't feel like Mormon, Nevada. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm in New York. I am in London. It's the turn of the century or something, you know?
Yeah.
So he's crafted this world to deal with these things, or these everyday feelings that are obviously specific to his circumstances. I also think Ryan Ross is a fantastic lyricist. I think, especially early Panic at the Disco, while he was in the band, lyrically is insane.
Yeah. And I
got the disco now.
I actually didn't know that Ryan Ross was the one who wrote them. I thought it was Brendan. Mostly because on Spotify it lists Brendan as the writer of all the songs.
Really?
So I was like, oh, he's just doing everything.
According to my Wikipedia search, Ryan Ross is.
And we'll trust that. Because Spotify lets people put anything and everything on here.
I mean, I think he might write this. I don't know. I think he might write the songs now because it's just him.
Okay, yeah.
So he got him.
This was. Oh, go ahead.
So I know it's just he is a good lyricist, and I think that in emo, I'm a reformed emo girl. I'm sure we all know this by now, and I say a lot of the like. How am I trying to put this? Feeling sad and miserable, and like nobody likes you, and life is horrible and never get better. I don't think specifically like being depressed in that way is a universal experience, but I think everyone at some point in their life has a moment where they think they're not good enough for something.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to articulate that in this way, that it's like almost fun to listen to, like it's not
Mm-hmm.
happening to you. He built this story. Oh, these two people are getting married, and it's not like you're separated from it, so you
Mm-hmm.
can process it in that way. I think is
Mm-hmm.
very skillful, and I think he did a really good job.
I agree. And I thought it was in my opinion, it was a bit of a fun return to the themes of like debauchery and indulgence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll look at it this way. I mean, technically, our marriage is saved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne. Pour the champagne. I think that's fun. Um, and yeah, reading the lyrics, there's a lot there are a lot less lyrics. There's a lot more repetition
Yeah.
of lyrics. So going back to what Kalina said about it being easier, a little more simple
Yeah.
compared to the other songs, and it's easier to chant. It's easier for a crowd of people to sing to.
Yeah.
And I think I really find, to me, if this makes sense, this song, in my opinion, sounds. I keep hitting it. Sorry. This song sounds the most like its title, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Iris is not tragedies. I think that's fun. I constantly thank God for Esteban. This was fun. This was one of my favorites.
Everyone used to make a joke about the guy from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Is his name Esteban?
God, you're young.
I watched The Sweet Life on Deck.
Yeah, there was a bellhop. His name was Esteban.
Oh, I know him. He was silly.
He was silly. I think they really give their music the time and space to breathe. They do not start off every single song and Brendan Urie is like off the jump singing. You know?
Hey.
Hello, it's me. Like this has like a good few seconds where it's just the music and we're waiting for him to come in, which I really think is important. I hate but after listening to this album, I think it's important to let, like, it can't just be in the bridge or like you have a guitar riff at the end, or a guitar solo. I think you got to give your music space and time to breathe, especially when you're introducing yourself to the world. I think in this album specifically, Brendan Urie's delivery of his lines is more impressive than his actual range vocally. But
Yeah.
the music, I think the music and his voice go very well together. He's not just like singing over it, it's moving and flowing with him. This song has pockets of a heavier sound, and it kind of feels like the story or a character, whoever a narrator's talking about, is like on a knife's edge now. Is like, this is like kind of like the turning point of our story.
Yeah.
I also wrote Addams Family for some reason. I don't remember why. Oh, that's my microphone.
The Bluetooth.
This song, I will admit, went a little over my head. A little. I need to go back to my AP Lit days, but this to me was another example of his delivery just being impeccable.
Sorry, Mormons. Okay, we open this up with "Forgive our sins, forged at the pulpit with forked tongues, selling faux sermons, because I am a new wave gospel sharp, and you'll be thy witness." So, gentlemen, if you're gonna preach, for God's sake, preach with conviction.
Yeah, like
unfortunately, religion goes kind of hard.
Yeah, it's fun, and this is probably one of the most religious what's the word for above? Religious text heavy songs.
What's the word for above?
You know what I mean?
Text?
Sub below, up above. Cut that. But yeah, I thought this one was fun. I thought this was a really good song. In this little number, we are graced by two displays of character. We've got the gunslinger extraordinaire, a walking contradiction, and I, for one, can see no blood from the hearts and the wrists you allegedly slit. There's more to that, but again, like, very Ryan Ross, I'm assuming that he's the one who wrote, very verbose, and Brendan takes these novels of lyrics and performs them beautifully. And you said something about how this album, how Affixo, is not necessarily his best vocal work. Like, it's phenomenal still, but not his best work.
Like, do I love "Hey Look Ma, I Made It"? No, but my man is singing to the heavens.
Right.
Okay, his voice is out there. What's the other one? Say Hallelujah. He's singing. He's singing.
And what I was going to say to that is, I have, I guess, the bias, or I guess the benefit of having heard songs from all of his albums, like even the more recent ones. So I have the knowledge of like his vocal range. But if I were in September of 2005 and I'd heard this, I would think that this was peak. Personally, I still think that he does a really good job
I don't
of
think, to
displaying
me,
his vocals.
he kind of falls into like a Patrick Stump category, where Patrick Stump can sing, but I think, at least for me personally, and I don't think everyone will agree with this, but the early Fall Out Boy, I don't think I listen to early Fall Out Boy, and what sticks out to me is, oh, that guy's got a really good vocals. Like, he's like Hayley Williams. You listen to early Paramore, that girl's singing. Okay, early Paramore, I'm like, yeah, I know she can sing. You know, I don't necessarily listen to early Fall Out Boy, and I'm like, oh my god, that's what sticks out to me out of this album is the singer. It's the music and the lyrics. Same thing here. I hear Brendan Urie now, I'm like, he can sing, but he still is so powerful with like half the capacity he normally he works with now. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else about I Can't Thank God for Esteban?
No.
Good one. Comment on this real quick. I think this is the third song that he hits us with La Da Da. He hits us with two earlier in the album. And then he brings it back in this song, and I thought that was fun. I don't know that you necessarily call that a continuity, but I think it's fun to have the same sort of sound.
I think it lends, to the sound of the album, and it lends to the genre we're trying to sing in.
Yeah, big time.
Next, I was obsessed with this song for a long time, mostly because of the title.
I still have yet to see the full title because like the car only shows you so much.
There's a good reason these tables are numbered, honey.
You just haven't thought of it. Is that it? There you go. Yet. There's a good reason these tables are numbered. There's a good reason these tables are numbered, honey. You just haven't thought of it yet. This one,
I always think it's you just haven't figured it out yet, though. To be
honest. This one, again, it seems like the narrator is speaking to characters in the story.
I feel like he's speaking to the audience.
He's
like
so?
wrapping it up. He's like, look, leave your overcoats, canes, and top hats. Like, not really, but like, okay, we're getting to the end of the story, so bring it in so I can tell you the rest of this.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. Yeah.
This, I can hear this playing at a jazz club. I want to go to a jazz club. Postmodern jukebox.
You've ever been to a jazz club?
No.
You should go.
I'm trying to think if I have. I went to a speakeasy one time.
That's cool.
I don't think it counts, but I had a good time.
Close enough.
But I also feel like our narrator is back to being an active participant because he says, "I'm the new cancer. Never look better, and you can't stand it." We're back to. Oh my god. We're back to. You can't do better than me, babe.
Yeah. So we start off, and he's, I guess, it's almost like he's ushering the crowd in or something like that, right? Please leave all overcoats, canes, and top hats with the doorman. I'm wrecking this evening already and loving every minute of it.
And like he knows, like he's now the one indulging, you know?
Yeah.
Before he was like, these people are indulgent, and just objectively commenting on it. And now he's like, me too, brother. Life's hard.
And then these verses are very dense. That's something I know. In comparison to the rest of the song, this is my first time looking at this one. These verses are very dense. And I think it's fun. I think I like the
flow. Just before I forget, in terms of like the language we use, why are we using the word nitroglycerin?
Yes, again, medication,
nitroglycerin, testosterone, harlequin.
Yeah.
Even cabaret. I'm like, babe.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Because you say so under your breath, your reading lips. When did he get all confident?
Exactly. We went
Haven't
from
you heard that I'm the new cancer? Never look better, and you can't.
So we've gone from this narrator who's just not really participating, and then he's in the story, but like on the fringes, to when did he get so confident?
Yeah.
Also, I love the bridge of this song, or like the final, like whatever I call it, the bridge is at the end, musically, lyrically. And I know it just doesn't feel right a night out with no one sizing you up. I've never been so surreptitious, so of course you'll be distracted when I spike the punch, which he repeats a few times. But I just think it is lovely and wonderful. And again, I think we're giving the band time to shine. And it's not like traditional pop punk in the sense that like we're getting a guitar riff, we're getting a drum solo, we're getting what sounds like an orchestra,
Yeah.
like a jazz band
Yeah.
playing. But they give it its own moment. Like that's an integral part of the music. It's just as important as the lyrics or how Brendan Urie delivers these lines, and also how he delivers the lines at the end. He says the exact same thing 3 times, and I know it just doesn't feel like, but he delivers them differently every way, so it hits differently every time.
Yeah, I agree.
When I spike the punch. Next song.
Last song.
Last song.
Best for last?
I wrote Just Kidding. This was my favorite. I'm always tied between.
So best for last.
This is Build God, Then We'll Talk. Don't watch this music video.
Don't. Okay, I won't. I'm gonna watch it.
Do not watch the music video.
I won't watch it. This one I enjoyed. I actually, prior to me listening to the album for this episode, which was 2 days ago, Kalina, I think, used this song or like passed you the song on TikTok or something.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, what song is this? And she was like, you should know this already.
You picked the album, yeah.
And so this was the first song, other than the 2 I'd already heard, that I listened to because I was like, I must listen to this. And I hate to say this, but after like 4 listens, after 4 listens and then listening to all the other songs, I'm not crazy about it. It's fine. It's a good song. Again, same sound.
That's crazy.
It's a strong end. I just think there are better songs in the album.
I do think it's a good closer, so it's a little bit calmer, I guess. I feel like we're back to our objective narrator though. And I kind of like how we're turning like nursery rhymes or like well-known things on their head, kind of in the same way we are turning phrases from this book or this author on his head. He says, the raindrops on roses and girls in white dresses, it's sleeping with roaches and taking best guesses, the shade of the sheets and before all the stains, and a few more of your least favorite things. Taking these things that are very familiar and supposed to be comforting in kind of, I think when we think about the past and this time period that this album invokes, we romanticize it because we didn't live through it, you know? He's like peeling away the layers. They're talking about like people having an affair, right? Yeah. And like on paper, he's a lawyer. He has this wonderful life. He's just helping this girl out. But like we're peeling away the layers. They're actually having an affair. She's just kind of using him. He's also kind of using her. That sort of vibe. I also think using something like not nursery rhyme is not the right phrase, but you know what I mean. The favorite things.
Yeah, that's nursery song.
You know what I mean. I think it lends to the whimsy of the album, which kind of helps us again deal with these emotions from a distance. And another very solid bridge here. Also, I think this is what it was with in terms of the words we're using, nitroglycerin, whatever. Very strong world building. Yeah. If I'm looking at this as my musical or as a book.
Absolutely.
He's talking about like a lawyer. He says he uses the word caricature, formaldehyde, which aren't like time period specific words. Yeah. But they're not words that we use, I think, in everyday language.
Absolutely not. Asbestos. And also about world building, in terms of more literal like place setting. I forget what song it was. Was it But It's Better If You Do, where he paints the narrative of, the cabaret bar, right? With Build God, Then We'll Talk, he paints this picture of this grungy motel. Yep. And that I can picture. That makes me think of like Breaking Bad. Like this grungy motel scene. Also, again, debauchery and mischief taking place.
Sorry, I just wanted to say before I forget, I also feel like a wonderful caricature of intimacy goes hand in hand with pain and naivety.
Yes.
Like it's the same idea. It's the same person that's suffering these things. It's like playing at what they think or someone is playing at intimacy with them and they're accepting it and they're pain and naivety.
Yeah. We also have religious themes in the song, accessorizing with the rosary tucked inside her lingerie. I think that is phenomenally hilarious to me personally. And also with all of like the Mormon subtext you're telling me about, I think that's funny. The song closes on this parody of my favorite things, Raindrops on Roses and the Girls in White Dresses. This is a fun song. Strong end.
I love
it. Great song. I just think they're better songs.
I disagree, but that's okay. Any closing thoughts on our album? I'm very sleepy. Sorry, just hit me off of that.
Closing thoughts. I think I could listen to this album for a week straight.
Yeah, I had it in the car. It's good.
Yeah, and that doesn't go for
And I don't really skip anything on here.
same. The only thing I would skip are the intro and the intermission. I have a hard time listening to albums straight through. Like I have to really enjoy an artist in general to listen to an album straight through. But this one I absolutely could. The song titles were fun.
I think it's a good album. I think it holds up pretty well. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes you listen to music from the early 2000s, you're like,
oh, this should have stayed in its time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this holds up well. I think the only reason it doesn't hold up well now is just there's drama with like Brendan Urie and the Panic at the Disco name.
Mm-hmm.
Which, not to say it's not his fault, but like I don't like the music itself is still fine.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Oh yeah, what are your top 3 songs from the album?
I'm gonna get them again.
I'll tell you mine. Mine is Build God and We'll Talk, Lying, and But It's Better If You Do.
Is that in order?
No. In order.
Build God, then we'll talk.
Actually, right now it's Lying and then Build God.
Okay. And then But It's Better.
So I guess it was in order.
Okay.
Actually.
So.
But the Build God and Lying kind of swap.
Right, yeah. So for me, my number 1 is London Beckon songs. Number 2, I Can't See Thank God for Esteban. And number 3 is Lying. Because Lying was like the
Lying's a
anthem
banger.
of my 6th grade, 7th grade, maybe earlier.
I don't think you should have been listening to this song.
I should not have been, actually. I shouldn't have been listening to a lot of things that I was. But much of my music taste came from Kalina and
also,
hearing
this is
what
like
she
a
played.
quick album. It's only 39 minutes.
Yeah, that's another thing.
That's
I have
crazy.
a hard time listening to albums straight through, especially nowadays, because an album straight through is an audiobook. But this was very digestible for me.
Yeah,
You could
like,
knock this
like
out
I
on
said,
a
I think
tour.
I think 10 songs is enough.
Yeah.
Next
week on.
Next week. Don't go me on that. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I was very nervous.
Don't be. No one's gonna watch this.
Yeah,
Our mother's gonna watch this.
Not
Eleanor's
even.
grandma's gonna watch it.
She's gonna watch it.
I'll watch it. That's the list.
One of my friends will watch it.
One of your friends will watch it.
One of them.
Just one.
Rowan.
No more.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I have been Kalina.
And I've been Kalile.
This microphone does not work. It's not on at all. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks.
There's been no quote me on that.
Thanks for listening. Don't quote me on that. One day we'll have an outro, but it's not today.